it's Guido. It's Saturday. We're going to do something just a little bit different again today. First, we're going to turn up these lights right here. Look at this. We got Tom Cruise, man. He is back. We do a reaction video. We're going to talk about the new trailer for Top Gun Maverick. Remember, Top Gun was that movie that came out in the 80s? You may have heard of it. you may have heard of it back in the 80s. I would be lying if I told you that Top Gun was not one of those formative movies for me that made me think maybe flying fighters would be pretty cool. I wouldn't say that when I saw it in the 80s, I don't remember when it came out, was it 87 or something like that? I think I was in college by then. I wouldn't say that it's the thing that prompted me to go try to fly fighters, but it certainly loomed large in my mind when I watched that movie. It was just a fantastic movie. It was interesting as I thought about this coming out now in 2022. That was a long time ago this movie came out. I mean, a long, long time ago that this movie came out. And there was no Top Gun 2 or 3 or 4. And I was thinking, man, what a great franchise. And it occurred to me that it's not really a franchise. It sort of is. At the same time, it's not a franchise with multiple movies. It is a franchise currently of one movie. And now maybe two. This one was filmed, I don't know how long ago now, 3-4 years. It's been in the making for a long time. They played the long game here. It's really interesting because instead of having a 1, 2, 3, 4 and watching these characters develop, you're jumping way forward into the future. And the characters from the original movie are at the end of their career. And there's some new characters that are showing up. And I feel like they're just the fodder for, obviously, this is a Tom Cruise vehicle. We've got Val Kilmer coming back, a couple of the others, I think, as well. But again, this is a Tom Cruise-centric movie, and I don't think it's really creating follow-ons for the new characters. But we'll see. We're going to break this down. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. Talk about some of the aviation stuff, things going on in this movie. So the opening scene here, this is from Paramount with their new trailer. So what happened with this movie, apparently, is it was pretty well done, I think. The pandemic thing got involved. They couldn't release it to theaters. I think there was a going back and editing thing, which is never really great news for a movie. But apparently it's starting to bubble up and is going to be released here pretty soon. So here we go. We got Tom Cruise, and he is going to do his thing. He's riding his motorcycle. Remember that iconic scene when he's driving? I think it's at Miramar, I want to say, or wherever it was that the first movie was. Is that right? Was it Miramar? Don't remember. Anyway, off he goes. I'm not a Navy guy. I don't know where they fly. You know what I mean? All right, check it out.
Here we go.
Here we go.
3, 2, 1.
All right, all those scenes we're going to talk about. So Tom Cruise, Top Gun Maverick. Obviously a Tom Cruise vehicle. All right? This is not about building a new generation of fighter pilots here. All right, off we go. Official trailer. Excellent. So opening scene, you've got the Hornet zinging right over top. You've got a couple Hornets now in a low level following each other right here. You can start to glean as you watch this trailer kind of how the story might be going. We'll talk about that as we go. Okay, dramatic.
What do we have here? Yeah, here I thought we were special.
Fellas, this here's Bagman.
Hangman.
Oh, whatever.
All right, that's actually pretty good lines. I like that. This here's Bagman, Hangman, whatever. So obviously there's a little bit of this going on between this character and the, I'm assuming, replacement for Iceman, right? So if we back this up, though, who do we have here? That's got to be Goose's kid, right? I think that's Goose's kid. Remember, Goose died, mostly because he's a guy in the back, and no, I'm just kidding. I think he's a pilot in this. These are F-18, although I don't know if there are Rios involved here for the 2-seat F-18s. I'm not really sure what's going on with it yet, so I don't see. He's in his civvies for some reason, and he's not in a bag. We got some guys in bags. We got some guys in their khakis, guy and a gal in their khakis. So we got, what do we have here? Here comes Iceman's son. Assumption, but I think it's pretty well sorted out that that's who that
What
is.
do we have here? Yeah, here I thought we were special.
So there's the Iceman guy, right? This is the character that everyone loves to hate, right? The handsome guy, he's all cocky and going, and then this is his buddy, right? So the buddy is the guy that's got his back, but he's not really sure that this cocky guy is the right guy to follow, but he's following him now because he's a really good aviator. That kind of crap. That's what's going on. And I thought we were special. See, so now he's insulting the female and the other people that come in behind him right there. I didn't catch their names, hard to see, but they come in.
I thought we were special.
Fellas, this here's Bagman.
Hangman.
All right, so call signs. Giving each other grief for call signs is a time-honored tradition for fighter pilots. I kind of liked that, actually. That was pretty good. And if that is not a Val Kilmer smile, I don't know what is. Is this Kilmer's son? Is this Iceman's son, cousin? Probably wouldn't be cousin, nephew, something like that. Daughter or a sister's son. That could be interesting. He might be related to Iceman, or he's just the Iceman kind of replacement character right there. So they are now in some kind of O Club or gathering place. They're playing pool, which is ridiculous because they should be playing crud. I don't know why they have sticks in their hands. I think they do have sticks in their hands.
What the hell kind of mission is
Let's go back and check this out. Yeah, he's actually playing pool on a pool table. No fighter pilot ever played pool on a pool table.
Fellas,
I don't know why that stick. Maybe he was just in a fight or he was getting ready to hit somebody with the stick. I don't think I've ever seen a stick in an O Club. All right? Pool tables are for playing crud. There's no sense in having a stick in the O Club. Her name is Trace. I did catch that. So we got captains or lieutenants in this case for the Navy.
this here's Bagman.
Hangman.
Whatever.
What the hell kind of mission is this?
Okay, so we got some footage of a low level. Looks fairly realistic. It's hard to tell sometimes what's CGI, what isn't. I'll tell you when I'm pretty sure it's not in there. It seems like it was sped up just a little bit. You can turn pretty quickly with the aircraft in terms of rotating with the ailerons and whatnot. That felt like it was time and a half just for a little bit of dramatic effect, so it's really fast right there. Frankly, it's not. It's quick, but that just felt like time was warped up a little bit to me. So we got some guys going through, or guys and gals, depending on who's flying down there, going through a low level. And that seems to be, there seems to be a big mission that's coming up right here of some kind. So they're gathering all the best together. They're going to do some training, and then they're going to do a mission. This feels like it's not a movie about just the standard pilots going to it's not weapons school, whatever, the Top Gun, which is the Navy weapons school where you create the best instructor. So essentially, Top Gun, you take guys out of the fleet, you turn them into the fleet's instructors, the best of the best. You send them back out to the fleet out there, and then they train the new instructors and they train the squadron. So they're the tactical expert right there, and that's what Top Gun does. Weapons school does the same thing for the United States Air Force. Right there. This doesn't feel like they're going to Top Gun just to train like the last movie. Based on what I'm getting from this, it seems like there's some big mission that they're putting together right here. Although that you have the training environment because now they're training for whatever that mission is going to be. So here we all are in this AirSats O Club, or maybe it's even the Top Gun O Club. You can see right here you've got
Everyone here.
You've got the patch right there. So they are there, and it's, that's relatively small. I don't know if that's the real one. Somebody who may know can go ahead and put the information down there. This may very well be, no kidding, the Top Gun bar right there. So interesting that this dude's in civvies. We got guys. There were some in bags, maybe some in the back now. And then we got all what looks to be the main characters maybe. And it's the old reunion. Everyone's like, oh, how you been? Yeah, it's been years, all that stuff. And here we go. All right, everyone. So let's back this up because what she says is sort of irritating to me. So here we go. Listen to this.
Everyone here is the best there is. Who the hell are they going to get to teach us?
Okay. So she rolls in all cocky, fires a shot across the bow of New Iceman. We'll call him a frigid guy. She fires a shot across the old bagman right there. And comes in and says, we're the best of the best. Who's going to train us? I'm like, oh, come on. That's just not something that a fighter pilot would say of any kind. It's kind of ridiculous. What I don't know is if these are all already Top Gun graduates. That goes back to my theory that it's some kind of mission. I'm wondering if these are all already Top Gun graduates coming in. She's got a bunch of awards here. I'd have to look at what all these basically mean, but no idea if it's in the right order right there. This is something they often get wrong. Although I will say her wings are slightly off center, which is kind of irritating. I don't know, is that a Navy thing? If you look at the 3 ribbons and then the center of the 2 stars here, that bad boy should be shifted just a little left there. You're just a little off. Is that a Navy thing? Is it supposed to be a little off to the right? I don't know. Seems wrong to me. Okay, that music, man. That music, that iconic Top Gun music is pretty awesome, especially when they slow it down like that.
Pete Maverick Mitchell.
Captain Maverick Mitchell gets the old bike out, and it's been a long time since he's seen her, and raged down next to the runway. He's on a taxiway, by the way. That's what that is. He's not supposed to be on the taxiway on his motorcycle. I don't know why he is, but that's not a good idea. More than likely, there's a sky cop back there, or whatever the Navy calls them. There's probably a cop and some blue lights flashing, chasing his ass down the taxiway. But I guess when you're Captain Maverick, you just drive all over the airfield on your private, personal bike all you want, baby.
Let me be
It's racing. You absolutely, definitely do not do shit like that. That is so Hollywood right there. It's a great shot. It's a great shot. You do not drive down on your personal motorcycle on the taxiway while somebody is taking off. The amount of safety violations that are currently going on right here is exponential. There's plenty of juice to get all these people fired. But from a Hollywood standpoint, that's pretty cool. All right, let's go back and see what they're saying, because this is pretty funny. So Maverick goes in. This is all his crap. I don't know. He's got a giant hangar that he's keeping alive. Maybe he lives there. That's potentially where he lives, and he's coming back from a deployment or whatever. He's got the iconic jacket on. Lots of stuff from the Navy. You know, he's got a 30-year career or whatever it is at this point. If you do the math, it's a long time. And he is a captain, apparently, which is an 06. So a full bird for the Air Force and the Army, an 06, and a captain for the Navy. Iceman, I think, is a 4-button or a 3-button. So Iceman has decided to go off on the leadership track. Off he goes doing the political thing, and Iceman has stayed the tactical leader, right? Maverick has stayed the tactical leader because he's Maverick, baby. So there's a little bit of truth to that. And whether they got that on purpose or by accident, it's kind of the Maverick character thing. But there is some truth to the fact that some people top out at 06, and a lot of times it's because they don't have the political bone in their body, or they don't want to do that. They want to stay more tactical, more at a lower level. Sometimes they're just not invited. So whether they wanted to be a general officer or not, they just didn't get invited. There's lots of different reasons. But I think we all know for Maverick, you know, he just wants to stay down at that level with the Warriors. Now let's listen to the comm right here from this.
Let me be perfectly blunt. You are not my first choice.
Let me be perfectly blunt. You are not my first choice. You are here at the request of Admiral Kazansky. That's Iceman. So Admiral Kazansky has a problem. He's gone all through his career. He's, I think, PACAF commander. I'm not sure. We'll see if we can see what it says right there. But he's a high muckety muck, Admiral XYZ. And he has requested Maverick, because we got a problem, folks. We got a problem, and the only guy that can fix the problem is Maverick.
We're here at the request of Admiral Kazansky.
There he is. Commander, U.S. Pacific Fleet. So he's PACAF. Wait a minute. NAVPAC. I keep saying PACAF, don't I? That's Air Force. I'm not sure what there's some kind of U.S. PAC NAVCOM thing going on right there. So he's the commander of U.S. Pacific Fleet. Ignore my PACAF stuff that I said earlier. So there he is. Look at Iceman. And I love this picture. There is no general officer picture that looks like that. They never give the blue ice. Is that what it was on that movie? Is that blue ice or blue steel or whatever the look he's given? It looks like he's looking right into Maverick's soul. He's still blaming Maverick for Goose's death. That is a look of recrimination. right? You killed Iceman. I know it was your fault. Everything else you've done in your career, you basically got away with. I'm sending you on a mission. These pictures for general officers is always a big smile and a very, you know, not like a I'm happy smile, but like a painted on smile. This is just hilarious. It just cracks me up, that picture. AKA Iceman. AKA. Why did he AKA? He knows perfectly well the dude's call sign is Iceman. He's like, you're here at the request of Kazansky. Of course, that's the Hollywood thing to reintroduce to the audience that is indeed Iceman, in case you couldn't see through that. I don't know if you've seen Val Kilmer lately. He has had some health issues and things going on. He got really quite large, and I think slimmed down and did some things, and maybe there's some CGI helping him out on this and all that. But he made a lot of great movies, by the way, after this movie. Some of my favorite characters were played by Val Kilmer in other movies. But here he is back in Top Gun Maverick. So he is the commander of the U.S. Pacific Fleet.
He seems to think that you have something left to offer the Navy. What that is, I can't imagine.
He seems to think you have something left to offer the Navy. What that is, I can't imagine. So I don't know. Maybe he's coming back to be commander of Top Gun, and I'm completely wrong about the whole mission thing. We'll see. We've got an F-18, a little bit of flying stuff going on. We'll talk about this as we go. So what we've done here is we're going into a split S, essentially, for whatever reason. We'll get the airplane out. So he's flying along. He's rolled the aircraft over, and now he is pulling down. And he is headed down into the split S. For what reason, we'll try to find out. All of these are either CGI or him in the back seat. So he's in the back seat of a F-18 right here. Some of these look like he's actually flying. It's pretty good. You can tell that he's got the mask up, which they're not going to allow him to fly around. Remember, they did that a lot on the first Top Gun with the characters when they did the CGI pieces so that you could see them talking and the facial emotions and stuff like that. More than likely, this is an actual flying. It maybe have some CGI around it. I don't know. But it looks like he is actually in there. The equipment all looks right. Everything's set up. He's got the mask on. It's cinched down. It looks like he's actually pulling some G's right here. You will make that face when you're pulling G's, whether you want to or not. That is the face you will make because you are straining so that you don't go night-night. And I would say that for Tom Cruise, going night-night in the middle of the filming here would not be good because that's not really useful film of him passing out from G's. So you got to like that right there.
With all due respect, sir, I'm not a teacher.
Okay, so you can see the background coming up behind it. So it looks like we're coming out of the split S up to level right there. With all due respect, I'm not a teacher. Okay. For the dramatics of the movie, that makes a lot of sense based on his character, and he does, he's the reluctant teacher. He doesn't want to come back and teach the new kids the thing. He's got all his baggage with him. It's not his deal. He just wants to lead men and women, I assume, into combat, all that kind of good stuff. He doesn't want to teach. And what I will say about that is, as a general rule, when you make Top Gun instructors, you are made a teacher. The whole idea is to be a teacher. A large part of the training at weapons school and Top Gun is how to instruct at a very high level, right? Generally they come there as instructors. Even as a flight lead, you're somewhat an instructor, but when you get through one of those kind of programs, you are at the top of your craft in terms of both your skill and ability and your ability to teach that to other people. Now he's a colonel, or a captain/colonel, depending on what service you're talking about. So he may be far away from that at this point. You don't generally have 06s doing instruction, at least not at the tactical level, right there. And he is Maverick. So there you go. So he says I'm not much of an instructor.
I just want to manage expectations.
Which is a pretty funny statement. Manage expectations. That is actually something that you hear a lot in the military. So whether they just got that naturally, or maybe with the people who were advising them from the military, that's a pretty good line. I like that one. And then that Tom Cruise grin. All right, let's talk about some of this flying because it transitions right to a ridiculous scene.
What the hell?
All right, so very dramatic. high energy, reminiscent of the first movie with some stuff like that. First movie had a lot of close flying, stuff that was made to look like combat or combat training, BFM, things like that, but way too close, mostly for dramatic effect. This is one of those kinds of things. I would say that's purely CGI, or at least portion of it is CGI. Could have very well been two Hornets flying side by side. Let's get over the camera. Two Hornets fly side by side, and they do this so that they could put the CG airplane going straight through the middle. But the problem with that is there's a bubble, in training anyway, around any aircraft, anywhere from 500 to 1,000. Depends on a lot of things. Usually when you have a newer pilot or training pilot, it'll be 1,000. At some point, you'll be upgraded to 500 out in the CAF, as we call it, Combat Air Force, and whatever they call it in the Navy. It'll go down to 500 quite a bit. The point of that is you don't get inside that bubble when you're doing your training missions, when you do the combat training, BFM, ACM, ACT, whatever it is that you're doing, because that's how you swap paint, right? You don't want to hit each other. Killing each other in training is a bad idea. Running into other airplanes, swapping paint is a bad idea. So once you got into the situation where you're doing BFM, basic fighter maneuvers, ACM, air combat maneuvers, or ACT, air combat training, these are all steps along the evolution of training. It gets more and more complicated. And when you get to ACT, it incorporates potentially ACM and BFM, because you may get into a merge and start fighting in that manner as well. But you're going to start off in BVR, beyond visual range, which is anywhere from X miles to X miles, depending on your radar and your airspace and lots of other things. But that bubble is to keep you from hitting each other. So there is no situation where an adversary would go that close to two guys or gals. First of all, if you got that close, there's a problem, because either your visual lookout is bad, or your radar work is bad, or the setup was silly. I don't know why they would set him up, right below him, or potentially he's been 20 miles out, or whatever their setup parameters were, and he snuck in. So we have a problem right off the bat. And then he makes a dangerous move by splitting those two aircraft. So if you did that, more than likely you're going to be grounded, and you're going to be sitting on your hands for some amount of time. If you do it more than a few times, you're probably going to get lose your wings. So you're going to have an FEB, Flying Evaluation Board. But at the very least, you're going to sit on your hands, and you're going to think about the mistakes in your life that brought you to that point. And then you're probably going to brief the squadron on why you're such a buffoon. Now, from the standpoint of a movie, very dramatic, kind of cool. And you are looking as an ACM bandit to come in unobserved if you can. You're just not going to go blasting by them and burst the bubble. So he's gone through. Here we go. Top Gun, or Maverick, is starting to train the new guys on combat. All right, here we go.
Morning, aviators. This is your captain speaking.
All right, we don't. There's no yapping like that while you're training. There's no back and forth, ha, giving each other crap. There's very specific things that you say at very specific times. Otherwise, you're not talking unless you need to be, and you're in your G-string. You're concentrating on what you're doing, and the comm that comes out of your pie hole is only what's required for the mission. So there's none of that stuff. But, of course, it's Hollywood, so we have all kinds of funny lines and whatnot going on. So he says, I bet that's the intel guy. So that's going to be the guy that comes in and briefs him on the mission or something. There's a couple other fellers in there that look at each other. They're not really sure. So they've probably been briefed on the mission, and they're not liking it. It's very dangerous, right? We got a problem. All right, Houston, we've got a problem. And only Maverick and his coterie of new / maybe not quite so new pilots are going to take it on. Gotta love it. And we're off. So we got Maverick. He's lowering the canopy.
Here we go.
We got Payback. So we get one of the call signs. I don't know if we have any more information, but this guy's name is Payback. He's got it on top of his helmet in case you need it. Although, where is his mask? Not sure where his mask is. Maybe it's hanging down here. I'm not sure. Maybe, I don't know how the Navy works that. Usually ours is connected to one of the bayonets already, so not sure where his mask is. Maverick had his on. This guy doesn't have his on. Where's your mask, dude? All right. So she's Phoenix, apparently. Checking out what's going on. So that's actually pretty cool. That looks like they're on a carrier somewhere, and they're in the jets, and they've at least got... they're sitting there all strapped in, and they're up lowering and probably raising the canopy to get all the shots that they're doing. They're going to do it all at once right here. The Maverick's helmets. That's what I don't get. Why is his mask on? Maybe he's in a different part of the startup. Don't know. We're going to Afterburner here. We got the back of an F-18. All right, that's actually pretty cool. And I would say that is definitely footage of him. He's in the back seat. He's not actually flying that airplane. So that's awesome. Never done that. That would be something else right there, doing a cat shot. So pretty cool that he got to do that. How many times did he get to? Who knows? I mean, if they got the footage they needed in the first one, I guess only once. But look how nice the day is. I mean, just everything is freaking spot on for that. Pretty cool. And we've got a lot of weapons on here. These look like training. No, are they yellow? I don't know. Interesting. Couple bombs. I can't identify them because that's not what I do. Somebody else could probably do that. And we got a couple, looks like A9Xs on the wingtips right there. Got a 4-ship taking off. You can see them all kind of flying away. To be honest, I don't know if you can launch a 4-ship that fast off of a carrier. A Navy guy would have to tell me if they can do that. This guy's not that far ahead. So I don't know how fast you can do that. You got 2 cats as far as I can tell. And I think it takes a little while to kind of line them up and hook them up and all that. So I'm a little bit surprised you could get 4 off that quickly unless there's 2 cats on the angle deck. Maybe I could be wrong. I don't know enough about the Navy to tell you whether you could get a 4-ship off that fast. But there they go. Looks like a cool shot. It's going to come out in May. Let's look at that. Is that a different airplane? What do we have here? No, this looks like F-18s, I guess. Got some helicopters flying around.
We're going into combat on a level no living pilot.
So I wanted to talk about that. We're going into combat on a level no living pilot has ever seen. That is not aging well, friends, because there are some pilots in the Ukraine right now who have flown in what is probably the highest threat level combat we have seen in a very long time, if not ever, based on the systems that the Russians and the Ukrainians have. So I don't know what's going on in the air where I'm not acting like I have any kind of essay. I have none whatsoever. But based on what we're hearing, the aircraft they had, the systems, the SAM systems they had, and the intensity of that conflict, that statement is no longer true. They just happen to be Russian and Ukrainian. All right, so we've got, I think it's a SAM coming in here. We do this weird, so we're going into combat on a level no living pilot scene. I think he says even you.
Combat on a level no living pilot's ever seen.
Not even him. And then, you know, there's that doubt. Maverick's got the doubt. He's like, oh, you know, holy cow, maybe I'm not the greatest thing ever. Now I've got that seed of doubt, you know. Holy cow, what if Goose dies again? What if I kill Goose's son and Iceman's son? They have a midair because it's my fault. I don't know. Maybe because I split their formation illegally and they panicked and hit each other, you know. This scene's pretty cool though, but I don't.
Going into combat
right.
On a level no living.
They do this a lot on these movies, these flying movies. That when they take the footage of somebody moving the stick in a simulator or in the aircraft itself, you can always, and there's always the sound, the cha-chunk. It's like, dude, you don't hear that. The airplane is so loud. There's no click, clank, clunk. You know, when the throttles go forward, you hear the cack, and the stick goes clunk and clank and clunk. Nobody can hear that. We ain't got time for that because the engines are too loud, the wind noise, everything that's going on. You got a helmet on with. There are no clickety clackety clunkety sounds in the cockpit while you're actually flying. It always drives me batshit crazy in these movies because they always do that, and it's generally they show the controls in some kind of static trainer, or the aircraft is on the ground, the camera's just there, and you know you're sitting in there doing the thing. As a side note, we actually had that happen in the Air Force. There is a movie or a series that was made about F-15C training at Tyndall, and I can't remember what it's called for the life of me, but it's out there. It was not very great. It didn't last more than about 3 or 4 episodes. It was supposed to be 7 or 8. I actually have the DVD somewhere of it. A lot of the people I know were in that and flew it. They use some really high quality cameras for the time. This was the early 2000s when this happened at Tyndall. It'll come to me as I'm talking. But they did that as well. They kind of got the guys and they showed the control inputs in the cockpit and tried to match up what you might have been doing based on what they were showing in terms of the maneuver right there. So this is just something that kind of drives me crazy. All right, back to this scene. So somebody pulls up and someone's going forward, and it looks like we've got a SAM potentially trying to track these guys down. They're dropping flares like crazy, and it's going to explode, and it looks like it's behind them a bit. So I'm assuming that's a miss. So who knows if they got fragged or not? But pretty cool CGI. I don't really know why one went up, and you know what's probably happening here is the old "I'm going to save you" thing, which they love to do in the movies. You know, one guy's getting tracked, and he's flying, and the other guy comes flying down. "I'll save you," and drops the flares and gets out of the way, and then the SAM misses both of them because they came in and somehow decoyed the SAM with their own airplane. That shit doesn't happen. I just stabbed I just stabbed my own monitor. I got so excited with the sticks here. All right. It doesn't happen. But anyway, however they managed it, they have decoyed, apparently, that SAM.
Not even him.
Not even Maverick.
You think up there you're dead.
All right, don't believe him. Don't believe him, because that is probably of all the dialogue in here, the biggest bullshit. If you think up there, you're dead. No, it's actually quite the opposite. If you don't think up there, you're dead. Now, there is something to be said about having good habit patterns, about being as knowledgeable in the jet as possible, about a lot of things being second nature that just happen and you don't necessarily think about them. So there's a level of truth to that is about 5 deeper than just Tom Cruise saying, if you think you're dead. As in, the idea is Luke, use the Force, right? That was Yoda telling Luke to use the Force. Ignore all those things that you need, that you know, or that are in your head, and just go with the Force, baby. It's going to be all instinct. All right. There is a small kernel of truth to that, but in air-to-air combat, if you are not thinking, you're going to die. As a matter of fact, just flying a fighter, if at some point you stop thinking about what you're doing, you're probably wrong. I just throw that out. But that's not good. That explanation is 3 or 4 levels deep, and there's no real way to get to that in a movie, right? So we're just going to get the Tom Cruise Yoda version right there. If you think you're dead, believe me. All right. These 3 are way too close. I don't know what's going on here, but that would be some of the more scary flying I have ever done. To be that close to this guy, and it's hard to see the actual angle and aspect. Maybe they're echelon a little bit here. But it looks like they're following each other, and I would be scared, especially if I was 3. 3 in this situation would suck. I would not want to be this guy. Also, they are really down in the weeds on this. Navy guys and Air Force air-to-ground guys would have to talk to this much more than me. I didn't do a lot of this. On the occasion we did, we're just down there. We would, check off a square for low level in the F-15C, and it was very uncomfortable to us. We didn't do it much, and it was smart for us to not do it a bunch, right? Because if we did it a bunch and got good at it, that'd be fine. But there was no reason for us to do that. So it was always kind of a check it off and then get away from the ground kind of idea. But these dudes, that's very scary coming in there. I suppose this is probably the mission. And I'm assuming the mission goes badly based on what we see in a little while later. I think we've got gather the crew. We bring in the Maverick. He's not a teacher, but he's going to do it. He trains the kids. They go on the mission, and shit goes sour. It doesn't go well. We'll get to that in just a minute. So this appears to be the mission that they're trying to go well on. And in these scenes where the F-18s are in this general area of the mountainous terrain, we get some F-18s blowing up and some bad juju happening. So that's my assumption of why the mission goes badly. So I suppose you might, if you're on the super secret, super dangerous mission, come in a low level, but I don't see any reason to go through the bridge. I think you probably could have gone over it. And I don't know if all 3 go through this same spot. How do you train for this? I don't know. I don't even know how you train for this, to be honest. It just, but it's a very cool scene. Very cool scene. There is no way in hell this is real. Nobody flew through a bridge in an F-18. Did they fly through it in one of these in one of these acro airplanes? Yeah, maybe they flew through with a camera on the acro airplane, got the view, and then CGI'd the rest of it. Maybe they used a drone. Hell, you could use a drone and fly through a bridge like this and then use that footage. So there's lots of options these days, to include just purely CGI. All right, so here we go. We go through here. Woo! That was exciting. Look how close they are. You don't fly like that. Holy cow, they're close. All right, so now we're gonna little throwback time. We're gonna see Goose.
My dad believed in you. My dad believed in you. I'm not gonna make the same mistake. I'm not gonna make the same mistake.
Oh, my dad believed in you. I'm not gonna make the same mistake. So the son is holding on tight to the idea that it was Maverick's fault that his dad died. Now that's interesting because wasn't Goose's wife, was that Meg Ryan? Was Goose's wife? I think it was Meg Ryan, actually, one of her first roles. Didn't that character kind of forgive? I don't know. Goose's son, Little Goose, whatever his call sign is, Crane, potentially, I don't know, Stork, whatever his call sign is. He is not trusting Maverick. So we're going to have that kind of thing going on right here, right? He's on the team. He's been brought in, but he doesn't trust Maverick. All right. All right, that's pretty cool. I don't know why they're in that formation, unless they're doing a flyover, potentially. Maybe they're doing a flyover for... What's interesting here is you've got another D model here. So that's got the extended canopy. He's in a D model. That's a C model. And it's hard to tell what that one is. A Navy guy might be able to tell by looking at that silhouette, but I don't know if there's any difference from that angle. So you've got one extra person over here. Looks like it's actually blurred out a little bit, but of course it's also blurry because of the... Well, it's blurry because it's just blurry. That's an odd formation. Even if you were penetrating weather like this dude would not be following you. That's ridiculous. He'd be on one of these other two guys' wings. So he'd be 1, 2, 3, and then oops, and then let's go back there.
Someone's not coming back.
No, stop.
Someone's not coming back
Oh
from
my
that.
gosh, this is driving me crazy. All right. So it'd be 1, 2. This would be 3 over here, and this would be 4, and he'd be on 3's wing over on that side. Also, I don't know why you're bringing a 4-ship through the weather like that anyway, but I don't know. This is a well-trained crew right here. All right, they can come in some kind of air show formation here and then go right to combat. Again, it's very cool looking visually. So here's Payback. He's looking over there. You know, this is interesting, the painting on the helmets. My understanding is the Air Force is allowing that now. I heard that. I can't verify it. And I don't know if the Navy does. They've been more liberal. The Navy has always been more liberal in what they can do with their helmets. When I was flying, you were not allowed to paint your helmet or put anything on the helmet. It was just a gray, one each, same helmet right there.
Someone's not coming back from this. Someone's not coming back from
Ooh,
this.
someone's not coming back from this. Foreshadowing. I think he's right based on what we're going to see. Pretty cool. They're going to do some terrain following right here, or a ridge crossing, doing terrain following to ridge crossing. A ridge crossing is going to be you're down, below the level of the ridge. The ridge is this high, and you come in here, pull up, and you're going to roll over like those guys are doing, and then you're going to pull down, essentially, or pull back, and you're going to stay as close to the top of the ridge as you can. Because if you just come up like this, you're probably going to come pretty high above the ridge, because pushing over makes you float. So you're going to use the airplane's standard design to do it. Come up over, roll over, pull down, and just fly right over the ridge. So you can kind of, as you're looking up, you can see the ridge right there. You can practice that in DCS. DCS does a pretty good job of showing all that. It's a lot of fun. I've done that before, not through a crag like this, and certainly not probably that close. Reference my discussion earlier about 15C guys not really getting close to the ground very much. But pretty cool. And there's an interesting thing that happens right here. All right, see how she is. So I think that's actually backseat footage, and I think they're actually doing these ridge crossings. I don't know where this is. Maybe Alaska or who knows? But obviously in some mountain somewhere, or maybe the mountains are CGI and they just did the maneuver. But for whatever reason, the pilot and her aircraft has come up, rolled over, and then as he was coming over the ridge, he's bunted. Okay, so he's come off the stick, and probably maybe not even a negative G, but at the very least 0 G right there. So instead of being pushed down into the seat as she's coming over, pulling down, then it bunts. Potentially negative G or at least 0 G, and you see her come up out of her seat, and you can see the actual kind of concern in her eyes as she does it, and she sort of flails a little bit. that one killed me. So if she was the actual pilot while she was doing that, her hands would be on the stick and left hand on the throttle, and so if she came up and over, and it looks like she's kind of trying to keep her hands where they're supposed to be, but more than likely they're down low, or maybe near the seat or on her legs or something. I don't know what she was briefed to do with her hands in terms of acting or just in the flying part, but left hand would be on the throttle, right hand would be on the stick, and if you did that as the pilot, you'd push forward or come off the back stick a little bit, really, if you just went to 0 G, and you're going to bunt. Now, one of the reasons you would do that is as you come over, if you're pulling down, and you're looking at the train that's off this way, you don't want to pull into the train. Say it levels off or something. You don't want to do that. So as you come up and over, and you see that train going, you're gonna come off the stick a little bit, so you're not pulling your lift vector into the ground. You're just gonna kind of float it over, and then you can go over the top. So without knowing exactly what the rest of the train was, I just found that pretty funny. She actually floats up in the seat, and it turns into a pretty good scene actually. All right, let's go back to some of the. Someone's not coming back from this.
I was not coming back from this.
Those are your pilots. Anything.
Those are your pilots. Anything happens to them. So, and I don't know who that actress is. So I don't know if this is the new love interest, the new Katie. Was it McGillis? Was it Katie McGillis or Kate McGillis, or am I completely wrong? I don't remember what her name was. Anyway, pleasant looking lady right there. So we have some SAMs firing, and to be honest, my SAM ID is pretty poor. I don't know how many fixed SAM sites are on the top of mountains on girders like this. Maybe Russia does that. I would hate to be the maintenance guy that had to go up there and fix all that stuff, though. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. That's a little nutty. Okay, I suppose it's possible. It seems like no. You're getting a little bit of altitude for your SAM potentially, and I suppose it's better than being down in the middle of the valley where you have all kinds of line of sight issues. So yeah, I mean, technically, if you wanted your SAM to have the best range and ability, you would put it up on the mountain. But then you got to consider trying to maintain those bad boys. But visually, it's pretty cool looking right there. And I have no idea what SAMs those are, to be honest. I'd have to look it up. Somebody can probably tell me down below. They may not even be any kind of SAM. Maybe just wholly made up from whole cloth. Oh, look at them go, baby. So these guys are way too close. That's one reason why you don't do that. One of the reasons you don't fly, in the Eagle, we're going to be a mile to more away from each other. And the reason you're away from each other is if they see one of you, they won't see the other, or it won't be as easy. Rarely are you that close together. But holy cow, these missiles, first of all, these aircraft were close. Right, it looks like the missiles just took off, and I don't know what happened. Maybe they just really overflew the SAM, but we got 4 missiles going after these dudes, and they're braking, trying to get away from it. Smoke in the air. That looked like maybe a real. That looked like maybe a real scene from Flying 2. I didn't notice that one. Yeah, pretty cool. Those look pretty real, what they were doing. And are we wearing masks again? I like it. All right, good job, Hollywood. The masks are up. And they're just accepting that, they got a bit of the mask sound to the comm right there, so that was cool. Big wide eyes, I like it. I think I would have big wide eyes too. Smoke in the air is the proper terminology, that's what you do say. There would probably be a clock position if you could come up with it right there. It'd basically warn your pilot, if you're the guy in the back, or your other flight members, what direction it's coming from. Man, that thing just took that F-18 out. So this is someone's going to die, and then we're going to get to it in a minute because there's proof that someone died, and that looks pretty much like somebody died on that mission. Yeah, they're not. And there you go. We've got a funeral. Remember, Goose died. We had a funeral. It's fairly formulaic, right? It's kind of the same thing. I don't know who she is. Very pretty girl. You'll never forgive yourself.
You'll never forgive yourself.
And he pounds the aviator wings into the casket, and then we have this thing. All right, so now we're gonna have payback. I don't know what this is. The F-69, the F-100,000, the F-1 the Blackbird Raptor destroyer, whatever this particular airplane is. A pretty cool shot, goes right over. The rest of the shot, I think, was from an earlier one. Everything, you know, all the wind and disruption that goes by as that aircraft takes off. I don't know why it took off so low. If it has that much power and it's that good, why it took all the runway and had to barely take off 50 feet above the end of the runway. But that's, you know, well, we all know why. Because it has to be that way for Hollywood. And now we've got, and people have said, I didn't know this, but apparently this is an F-14. Right? Why do we have an F-14? What's going on there? So, funeral, smash in the wings, take off in the F-69. What is this guy doing? I feel like that was stolen. The airplane was stolen. Is this Maverick doing Maverick shit? Has Maverick stolen the prototype super fighter and he's going to go get the guy that killed his guy? Well, I think that's probably what's about to happen here. And all that flying has not been in the trailer. So there's going to be some space age, space jet, super airplane stuff. At least he stole it and turned on his his lights. I'm glad he did that. Okay, maybe he didn't steal it. I'm sort of going off on a tangent, but I feel like he stole it. These two look like they're not happy, right? These look like the cops or maybe somebody trying to stop him. This is the secret base or whatever, and he's taken off from Tonopah or one of the bases out there in Area 57. Did he sneak into Area 57 and steal the prototype? I don't know. I could be going off on a tangent there, but I feel like that's what happened. All right, let's go back there because what happens here is a merge. And I think this is an F-14. Is this Maverick? That doesn't look like his helmet. Was that his helmet? I don't know. But that appears to be the Russian, I think it's called a Felon, Su-57, something like that. Felon is the name NATO gave it, which is their fifth generation, supposedly stealth-ish fighter, probably more like generation 4.5. Not many of them out there, only a couple as far as I know. And whoever this is this Baby Iceman? Or not Baby Iceman, but Baby Goose? I don't know. I think that's his helmet. I'm pretty sure isn't that Baby Goose's helmet? So he's merged with a Felon. This may be something that happened earlier in his career. I don't know. It's very strange. But there is an F-14 involved somehow.
No.
I still don't know. I really don't know where this ever came from to begin with. You lost that love and feeling, right? From the first movie. An absolutely iconic scene. Very funny. Good scene. We've got something. I don't know what they're singing. Is it the same song that you don't get to hear what's going on? I like this guy's look right here. This guy's cracking me up. He's got glasses on, so I'm assuming he's a wizzo. But Baby Goose is apparently playing the piano like his dad, right? Didn't his dad play the piano? And then we got everyone singing. But this time the woman's singing, so they're not singing to a woman. I don't know what they're singing. That spawned quite a long time in O clubs all around, even in the Air Force, singing that song on occasion. Sometimes ironically or as sort of a joke, but also for the fun of it. I will tell you that did sort of enter into the fighter pilot psyche, I suppose, for a little while. I wouldn't say that was taken on in the same context as the movie. A lot of times it was just as a joke or just having fun, but we still had fun with it. I think it's interesting that they're doing the singing thing again. I'm curious what the song is. Is it the same song? I don't know.
No turning back now.
Okay, no turning back now. These look like cruise missiles, maybe? No, right on, just on cue. got some Raptors flying over. I don't know what it is. 16s, Raptors, who knows? So we've got, looks like maybe either missiles or cruise missiles or something flying. And this is probably the beginning of the mission where things go badly. So these are probably strikes going in to soften up defensive, whatever this mission is that they're doing. Right over top of them. Okay, that that's a little close, fellas. I don't think I would mission plan. So the cruise missiles flew about 200 feet over top of my aircraft. I'd either deconflict by time or maybe just a little bit more azimuth or altitude or something. But I don't see how we need this tight of a deconfliction. But what do I know? Maybe, your cruise missiles flying 50 feet overhead your fighters is something you want to plan for. I feel like no, but maybe this mission is so important. That's what we just had to do. Ooh, a fight. All right, so obviously somebody has said something about somebody's dead relative, and now we're all very angry. We've got a Sam coming in. Looks like Tom's going to have another love interest of some kind. Driving along, having a smile. All right, there's another complete, and that's Hangman right there. There's another complete training rule, or what we call TR violation. I went through that.
Having any fun yet?
Back to that we don't say that stuff. Nobody would. It's good. It's good. It's good Hollywood crap. And then back to the slow music. There you go. Those are my thoughts on Top Gun Maverick. I will go see it. I am looking forward to it. We'll see how the whole thing goes. There's a few things that irritate me in that movie that probably I don't think really need to be there. But you know what? It's Hollywood, so they got to have the visual thing. They got to keep you involved. They got to excite you, titillate you, all that good stuff. So I do understand why they do it. Just I threw some of the reasons why some of that was BS out there, just so you kind of know that. I do tend to get a lot of questions and comments and things about movies in general, things that happen in them, and that people are like, is that how it really goes? And I'm like, well, there's a kernel of truth, and it's both cooler and less cool than what you saw. It's cooler if you know more about it in the background, but it's hard to a lot of times kind of articulate that in a fast visual medium like a movie. So you got to go with the visual thing, rather than try to go 2 or 3 levels deep on why it's so much cooler and maybe not as visually pleasing. There you go. That's all I've got. Hope you guys have a good Saturday. We will see ya. Looking forward to it. Let's go Maverick.